And, but again, they've played this perfectly because the company it makes this even better that Vince has announced he's selling the rest of his stock. He'll have no ownership. They're probably happy about that. Maybe that was an agreement, that we don't know about amongst the muckety mucks when the news of the muckety muck came out. But they babyfaced the company as a whole, as an entity for the first time in 25 years now, Brian, have they not?
They have a real chance here. They have.
And then here comes Cody and the new champion of the new era. And he's smiling and he looks professional and he gets a huge reaction. And the chance, and you deserve it. And it's got to the point where this crowd now, and obviously these crowds are bigger than they were, they won't let these top guys talk for minutes at a time. They just want to, and this wasn't, I don't think all these people are still in town or in the country from WrestleMania or decided to travel to Detroit because they were so swept up in the moment. This is just a regular crowd now that they chant, and they won't let you talk for minutes because they're following the example of the other crowds they've seen. You deserve it. Yay, you exist. You're about to talk to us. All they have to do is stand there. They have worked this brilliantly. And what do you want to talk about works now? Have you noticed that?
I'm not going with you on that.
Oh, it got a pop.
Answer it. What do you want to talk about? What's the response? If you're in the crowd, so, Jim, what do you want to talk about?
They cheered him because he said, what do you want to talk about? Because now the line, it means something. They want to hear him talk about being the new champion.
Hunger! People should just yell out topics.
Hunger! What do you want to talk about? Mathematics!
Famine!
But you had to like this promo because he quoted your all-time favorite Rhodes family promo line.
She does it better.
Well, you can't ever copy the original, but he talked about The Rock interrupting him on Raw the other night and said to quote, I guess she's from Detroit, Brandy, his wife, to quote somebody else from Detroit, who the hell told you it was open mic night, bitch?
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, he said it here. If he had said it to The Rock, it would have been amazing. But it's like, he's saying now the thing he didn't say to The Rock.
He didn't think of it until she thought of it. See, he went home and she said, you know what you should have said? He said, well, I'll tell the people the next week what I should have said.
Yeah, okay.
All right, but anyway, what was...
If he had said that to The Rock, the place would have come unglued. If The Rock had done his thing and before, because you never would have expected Cody to say it, and he had just said slowly, who told you it was open mic night, bitch? The place would have come unglued. I would have come unglued.
Well, we'll stick you back together and move on. Because help me out with this now. The thing that The Rock handed to him in their hands, and he said, you'll know what this is without even opening your hand on Raw Monday night. Don't ever break my heart again, was The Rock's quote. Well, what that was, Cody says, was something that he had gifted to The Rock.
Kiss ass.
How could you get kiss ass in the palm of your hand?
When did he gift it to The Rock? When would it have been? I'm saying the fact that he gave The Rock a gift, when would that have been? A little kiss ass? When did he give a gift? When he was a rookie?
Well, didn't he say something he didn't say peace offering, but he said at some point he gave The Rock whatever the fuck. But he ended up, when The Rock returns, he's not going to be hard to find. He's going to be standing there as the champion. But we still don't know what this gift was, and it's still a little unclear. So I'd like to put a private investigator on that if we have to. But anyway, then they're going to have 2 3-ways tonight.
A silver dollar for the Midnight Rider. Because it has to be something that fits in the palm of your hand, right? It wasn't a big thing.
That would be great. Or a handcuff key.
Or a handcuff key.
Well, it fits in the palm of your hand.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it doesn't tie back to one of their family members.
Somebody broke somebody's heart, could have been left there all handcuffed. I don't know. But nevertheless, in the Tony Khan style of booking of the moment here that they did, they're going to have 2 3-way matches, and the winners of each one of those are going to fight at some point, and that's who Cody is going to defend the title against at Backlash at the end of April, right after Dynasty
in France.
In France. What time of day will that be on over here in this country?
Oui.
No, I'm fine. I just went in our last break.
Have you noticed they've stopped calling it the Universal Championship?
Yes, he's the undisputed WWE champion now. Well, wouldn't the World Heavyweight Champion somewhat dispute that?
There are some people that thought maybe Roman comes back with the other belt. Remember, he had 2 belts. Now he can come back and say, I'm still the champion, but that would kind of defeat everything, especially we'll talk about what happens here, but it appears they may be moving away from the Universal Championship.
Well, because Pluto was upset. Pluto and Uranus, and not to mention the Alpha Centauri faction that had their own champion that wasn't allowed to be in the tournament because he kept draining the opponent's blood with his tentacles.
Has there ever been a Universal Championship that has lasted more than a few years?
No. And that's why when this reign of Romans, to pun, actually went on and had length and substance, it meant something because it's first time. And still they even made up the world title, but thankfully it didn't take, much, if anything, diminish Roman's reign. But every time they keep splitting this shit up, it's harder to make it more meaningful. I wish they'd quit doing it. But whether it's universal or undisputed or undeniable or whatever.
I don't want to hear that anymore either. I went from undeniable to undesirable. I went from undesirable to undeniable to unrelenting. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Well, he skipped over unreliable.
Unreliable.
No, he was never unreliable.
No, you can rely on Cody.
You could rely on him to be undeniable and indispensable and whatever. Anyway. So, but he's no longer the hunter. Now he's the hunted. He was very champion-like. If you come at the king, you better not miss. I am the undisputed WWE champion. So it was just his, after he won the title interview on SmackDown like he did on Raw without The Rock. But then, and I'll let you make other comments here after the next piece of this, though, was they go to the back. And there's Paul Lee and Solo and Jimmy Uso, and they walk up and they do the fucking shocked face because their locker room door now has the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes sign on it. And so Paul Lee says, hey, winning and losing is important here. There are consequences to losing. We've got to return the title to the bloodline to get our locker room back. And that's going to be a thread that we talk about more here later on in the program. But your thoughts in closing on Cody's coming out party there as the new champion.
I really like the closing thing with Heyman and Solo and Jimmy. I thought that was good. Heyman was the star of this episode, but more about that in a little while. Thought it was an all right promo, but he said nothing. All of a sudden, if you come at the king, you best not miss. All right. This is going to be the real test for Cody, is after the story's been finished. What happens? Who's he going to feud with? I mean, we have no idea of any of that. They're having just matches to get an opponent. That's not a feud. That's an opponent.
Well, let's face it, it's Backlash and it's in France. And they're fulfilling some contracts, if nothing else. And I'm not knocking the people over there in French.
In French.
But it's going to be 2:00 in the morning or 10 a.m. in the morning or whatever the fuck odd time over here. This is not a major pay-per-view. They probably want him, Cody, to get a good solid win. And, as the new champion in his first defense, and they're setting things up for SummerSlam and or King of the Ring. Do they do that anymore in the summertime or whatever the fuck? Summer will be a little bit bigger, but unfortunately, we've come down to, well, I guess a spoiler alert here. We've come down to the two challengers that are going to meet each other, and I missed exactly when, but probably next week or something, to be the challengers on pay-per-view is going to be LA Knight and AJ Styles, which we just saw at LA Knight 1. Are they going to beat AJ twice in a row and put LA Knight against the most popular guy in the company, or are they going to go the other way and feed AJ as a heel with valid name recognition to Cody in his first defense? I think that's it, which means that AJ's got to beat LA Knight. So I don't know.
And it means we get Cody versus the Good Brothers at some point in that. So no, please no.